This is the original building that Winston Rod came to when it came to Montana in 1976. And this is where our bamboo production takes place. The graphite rods that we build are truly built by hand, but bamboo is a whole different area of rod production. A lot of history involved. So if you could walk us through.
The history and tradition of the bamboo rod goes way back. This company's been working bamboo rods for over 76 years. It's a material that people use to connect themselves back to the early years of fly fishing. And each process builds on the previous step. This company brings in the culms, the whole culms from China, where we bring them in here and sort them for quality. We look for any blemishes, any splits, any cosmetic or structural problem with the culm before we start to process it. We'll break those down into the various strips, whether they're for tips or mids or butt sections. We'll split those culms so that they can be applied to an entire rod. You'll see here a more advanced stage of the process wherein we've split the culms, we've milled the sections down. It's a very labor-intensive process. There's a lot of material that you will cut out of the process because it doesn't make the grade, whether it's cosmetic or structural. So you see Mike going through these tips. These tips have been run through the milling cutter, and they now are cut at the appropriate size, taper, and dimension. After he's done sorting through those, checking them through, the good tips will be matched up in alternate sections and set up by their node spacings, and then we'll glue them together, and then we're ready to go with the tip. Some of the parts, after they've been glued together, these sections here with the string wraps on them, these have been glued up and now they're aging out. The trick is to try to keep the characteristics of each strip compatible to the next strip in the part.
So they're all working together.
They all work together. This is Dave. He right now is sanding a piece. He's taken the string off of the part. He's now sanding it down, taking the enamel off the outside. Again, he will be checking this part for any blemishes or any structural problems with the part. Once we're done with the sanding of this, then it's ready to start into the final phases of finishing. We'll start setting ferrules on this. After the ferrules, then we'll have the guides wrapped on. We use the finest guides available. The cork grip will go on. We don't use preformed grips on these rods. These cork rings are hand-selected. The equipment you see in this shop here is equipment that's been with the company for quite a few years. You can see that everything here is a hand tool. That brings us back to the quality and craftsmanship of the individuals working the product. Even though we have started this whole process from the very beginning of the culm, we've taken it step by step through every stage, being very careful to make each step as perfect as possible. Now you're to the point where you start to look at the finished product. The beauty of the product really jumps out at the finished stage. These rods have been sprayed, they're all set and ready to go. And they're really quite beautiful pieces of work. Everywhere on these you'll see the hand craftsmanship, you'll see a freehand inscription, no labels. And this is the culmination of 76 years of tradition in the Winston Rod Company.